Good morning, evening, afternoon. This is Masati, and today we've got a special episode. It's called The Guru Wound, when God got replaced by a middleman. So we'll talk about spiritual leaders, religious systems, and well, even well-meaning gurus, and how they got distorted. So, so on this Moss on Sunday, we walk, the edge between, say, reverence and rebellion, and it's really, really important because as the world or as the universe shifts and transforms, people get pushed into finding a solution. So basically, overall, think of that, say, society or not society, yeah, society, the human species as a whole is drowning. Okay, it's either going to go extinct or elevate. That there's only two choices. Okay, it's either one or a zero. And what's happening is that as people get forced, you get pushed, you get shoved, what happens? Just like parents, for example, if you're a new parent, you didn't really decide on how to raise your kids. When a situation happens, an experience happens, what do? You default back to your well how you were raised, right? Because that's how you were trained. So the same thing here with spirituality and religions and even science. We go back to our old standards, even if those standards were fucked up in the first place, right? They were messed up. They didn't benefit you. Now you go back, right? This is the same way where people say got abused as a child, and then they have kids, and then they abuse their kids. And so why does that happen, right? Again, that's another topic for another month on Sunday, but it's the same process, though. It's the same pattern. So today we're going to be talking about how you get spiritually manipulated, energetically hijacked, guilted into obedience. Does that make sense? Obedience. Your parents want you to be obedient. Your school wants you to be obedient. Your government wants you to be obedient. Science wants you to be obedient. Everybody wants you to be, well, follow their rules, but unfortunately, their rules don't lead you to your highest potential. And this is where we get more and more and more control. Something has to break, and that's what's happening in today's society. So today we're going to go on to two lovely individuals live. We'll scan them for, well, guru wounds, and we'll see what's going on. And as a note, as I work on, is it Mikkel and Beverly here? I'll be working on you, especially if you have similar problems. And then we're gonna get into different ways on how you can see how how these say religious traumas say has affected you, and then the last piece on this Masadi on Sunday is there's a lot of talk out there as people, especially let me reframe that. As you get into XI, your spouse or your neighbors or your friends or your family might go, "Hey, that Masadi guy, he's he's a cult leader. He's a guru. You're falling into some religious camp and all that." How many of you have gone through that, by the way? So comment in on that, and we'll go to our first guest, Mikkel. Hey, Mikkel, how you doing, buddy?
Hi, Mas. I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. All right. So how long have you been with XI?
Since 2019, I've
Okay.
started working with you in 2019. There was
Mhm.
21 days back then. There was private sessions, and you also worked on me in person in
Oh, wow.
Minnesota
Okay.
during this race event. It was great.
Oh,
I
oh, awesome.
also, yeah, I also been working with a psychosomatic therapist after that, with
Hmm.
psychologist. I've worked with business mind. I worked on my relationships. I'm in the happy relationships right now with XI women.
Yeah,
Um, all aspects
beautiful.
have changed for the same time that I've been working on myself. Like people see the difference. My friends, they say that I'm a different person. So I'm
Hmm.
elevated in terms of the frequencies.
Hmm.
However, my material life has not changed. So
Okay.
I'm the financial aspect is still kind of there, same. And I
Okay.
just want to be able to, to be afford that high frequency life, like the frequency
Hmm.
raises, your uh,
Yeah.
reality changes, and my reality kind of stayed the same, and I want to find out what is it, and maybe not maybe, I need to break through this to the next level because I really want to be able to afford a child and to grow into like, next version of myself, family and such.
Absolutely. Just take a breath in, Mikhail. Just notice your sternum bone there, and for you as well. Again, take a breath in. So this one, I think it's SM. Says I hate rules. Again, that's another thing. And that goes to you, Mikhail, is that you followed the rules all your life, so to speak, if that makes sense to you. And now you're breaking free. You've got a lot of say momentum going forward. In this case, wealth or money, financial freedom comes usually at the end. Okay, as Jesus said. What did Jesus say? Just give me a second, guys. I wrote this down. It was quite beautiful. Jesus, he spoke about. He was talking about seek first the kingdom of heaven and all else will follow. Okay, again, Jesus the man, not the religion, because you want to get away from the distorted views of that. But again, follow the men or follow the people, not the religions, because they've been distorted. Bring your religions back to its truth. So in that case, Mikhail, and this is why in XI, people want the money first, and then they want whatever. But it doesn't work that way. Jesus knew that. Many spiritual leaders knew that, and this is where you, Mikhail, take a breath in again. Let's reset religion for you because there's a lot of religion in you. I don't know if that comes from your mom side, but I just see a feminine frequency with a lot of religion aspects in it, and those religious connotations or ideas or concepts, well, they're not really true, right? They're based on fear. So as you go forward, Mikhail, take a breath in, and this is where a lot of people get stuck, and that's how they've tied it, so to speak. So that you're bound, okay, is basically is like if you become wealthy, then you're a sinner. You're not spiritual, you're not clean, you're not whole, and that's what really holds you back. Mikhail, because you want to be a really, really, really good person, because that's what you've been raised to be a good person. So can we change those rules, by the way? You want to follow rules, by the way. There's always rules to follow. Now there are rules, there are rules that bind you into, say, somebody else's, say, distortions and frequencies, and we'll talk about that. But then breath in again, my friend. And then there are rules, like natural intelligence rules, laws, by the way, that must be there for you to go forward. Okay, if you don't follow those rules, it becomes very, very destructive. And it's not about rules. It's the rules that you're following, okay? God, natural intelligence, nature has rules. If you don't abide by the rules, you get distorted. So with you, Mikhail, breath in, what we're doing here, and you might actually feel it in your rib cage from what I'm sensing. Yeah.
I do.
So yeah. So what that means for you sciencey type out there, what that means is that uh, the memories that you say entrained within your body, right? Not your mind. That stuff's easy to let go. But the cellular memories or the genetic memories, okay, that are encoded in you, those are starting to shift and change with the frequencies that I generate. Okay. Now, there's a lot of science behind that, a ton of science that, say, human science does not know yet. Right? It doesn't mean it's fake. That doesn't mean it's sham. It's just that science is another religion, and that's why I bring that up. All right. So breathe in again. There's a lot of sciencey people out there as well that watch the show as we get more and more involved. There's science that goes, hey, let's check this guy out. And then they equate that. And here's the key with you, Mikhail. Take a breath in. So they compare this science, natural intelligence science, with their science, and it doesn't make sense. And then it's like, it's a sham, it's fake, it's bullshit. Breath in again, buddy. Okay. So those rules, Mikhail, are guiding you. Okay. You've got another set of rules that are, say, activated. And again, that's your natural intelligence. Okay. Your original authentic self, that's coming in as well. So, Mikhail, you might actually feel like you're kind of switching from an old version of Mikkel into a new version of Mikkel. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Okay. Because this is where people are seeing the difference. People is like they can't put their finger on it, but there's something different about you, Mikkel, right? Like you said, right?
Yes.
So in that case, since you're switching and it looks good on you, by the way, can I help you release the freedom? Can I help you again? Sorry about it. Can I help you pull yourself into the freedom that these laws, and again, they're not XI laws, they're natural, they're nature's laws, the way nature operates, right? Nature is always at its highest, most efficient, most abundant self all the time. So, do you want to run from those laws, Mikkel? And anybody else on here, just comment yes if you want to run from those laws and if you're
Absolutely.
ready to transition. All right. So breathe in.
Yes.
So this is, I think you actually booked this session, buddy, for, well, it's almost like uh, there's another thing in you. Eh, Back in the day, I think you've always been told what to do. So you're kind of waiting for somebody to go, hey, Mikkel, you can be your real self now. Okay. And then follow your internal orders, not somebody else's orders. So can I give you an order here, Mikkel? Okay. The order for you is to be your best damn possible self that you can be according to, say, your purest version of who you are.
Absolutely.
Okay. Not according to parents, not according to religion, spirituality. They might be kind people, again, but they might not know, the truth behind how this reality works. Okay. So breathe in. So this is a celebration for you. This is, say, a crowning for you. A crowning, and again, the crown is not, say, a religion or anything like that. A crowning is you coming back onto your own self. So imagine your higher self, and you can do this as well because there's a lot of yeses on there. Okay. Imagine you looking at your highest potential. Okay, what that looks like, who that looks like in physical form. Okay. So the brilliance of who you are or who you could be in a very short time with XI. Notice how that feels for you. Breath in again, my friend. Okay. Whenever you're ready, imagine you being crowned, not by me, not by other people, but the highest version of you, the next version of you. Okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. How does it feel to be crowned? And notice the crown for you. You don't have to explain it to me. It's everybody's personal, so that's your space. Don't want to get into that. Breathe in. Notice your hips. This is also where you can release the burdens. I don't know if your mom or grandma has hip issues. Um, you don't have to have hip issues as you age, do you? So you let go. Okay. All right. I want you to do one more thing, by the way. Breathe in. Okay. So you're crowned by your higher self. So that's good for you, right? All right. So
Yes.
can you embrace your higher self? So your higher self crowned you, and all of you do this. Your higher self crowned you. So now, give yourself a hug. And then can you just vanish into your higher self and just shed away the distortions? That okay for you? Notice I asked you to walk into your higher self, not your higher
Yes.
self walking into you. If your higher self walks into you, you're literally like wanting to go back to your old standards. This is higher spatial referencing. So watch flow states. We talk about this on, the 10-day, finding your purest self, knowing thyself. All those we talk about that on the 10-day, on the 10-day series coming up. So maybe somebody could post that as well. Take a breath in. All right. All right. Notice how that feels. Did you disappear into your higher self, and how do you feel?
I
Okay.
absolutely disappeared in my higher self. Yes.
Perfect. So from the science perspective, okay, just to explain that to you, visualizations are not hallucinations of the mind in XI. Okay? What I'm doing with Michael, and many of you have done private sessions, is basically allowing you to. It's more of a gauge for me where I see where you're going and where you are. Okay, so the visuals are again higher, say identities or say the logic that you're when you create a visual in your head, how is that created for you? So XI looks into the logic on how you create things. Okay. So again, it's not like like a visualization, goal setting, and all that stuff. That's very, very different. So breathe in. So, so how do you feel, bud?
I feel great. I feel like it's a little kind of colder air on the skin, but I'm just present fully, and yeah, very
Beautiful.
powerful.
Okay. So, so you are operating from the highest version. Again, so it's a celebration for you. Okay. Uh, just give me 1 second. Just notice your lower back and your hips. Let's lock you in as well. And for other people listening in, if you felt that, let's lock you in. If you didn't feel it, you weren't ready. All right. So what that means, Mikhail, is that in the even now, like say within minutes, you'll see two versions of yourself. The old version that well, basically died or say stopped to stopped living, and then the new version. Okay, so again, you step from the old version out into the new consciousness or your new consciousness. So in physical form, for you, Mikhail, and many of you out there, and if you've gone through this again, comment in on how this works. So you'll see mostly the old Mikkel doing things over to the left side of you, and then you'll see a better version of you. So, say that somebody asks you, "Hey, let's go to dinner," and it's not about the dinner. Okay, so are you going to go to that dinner from an old version of Mikhail or the new version? If you get pulled to the left, then that opportunity basically is telling you you're going to be like sucked into your old self. So there's a couple things you can do. One, not go. Okay. Or you can ask, it's like, hey, I like that restaurant that we're going to. How do I say represent myself as my new version? And then wait till you get pulled to the right. Now, I programmed you to realize that, so it makes it easier for you, okay, to decide. Again, it's very simple. If you're getting pulled over to the left in any decision, that's you're going to be running your old self. The reason why is because old habits, old patterns, old logic, old ideas and concepts. Okay, that's why you get pulled to the left. All right. So you ask yourself, how do I say go to this restaurant with my new version of myself? And then when you get started getting pulled to the right, that's when you decide and go, yeah, I want to go to that restaurant because you're ready. You basically let go of the past patterning and moved over into, say, again, your higher version of who you are. That makes sense for you, buddy? I
Totally, totally.
think he's zoned out. All right. So, Kel, um, did that make sense? Sorry,
Yes, yes,
I saw
yes,
you
totally.
kind of zoned out. I should have left you there. All right, buddy. Nice job, my friend.
So yes,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Um, we'll go on to Beverly, but many of you who have been, say, controlled by the system, your parents, whoever, sometimes you just need, say, another authority figure to tell you, hey, you're free now. Go do what you need to do. And that's, say, um, the last orders you follow. Okay? Because now you're yourself. So again, as I talked to Mikal, those online as well, guys, it's the same process for you as well. Okay. All right, we'll move on to Beverly and then we'll get into the content here. Hey, Beverly, how are you doing?
Um, I just wanted to say that when Mikkel walked into his higher self, I could really see it.
Yeah.
And lovely. I saw
Isn't it
this
though?
shimmering man.
Yeah.
And I
Eh,
never saw him before until this meeting. I don't know him at all.
Yeah,
It was
it's so beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I started crying. It was so
Uh,
lovely.
that is beautiful.
Hmm.
And I think, and for you, Beverly, take a breath in, hon, and notice. I want to say um your upper spine. So, where your ribs connect to your spine, that whole area. I don't know if you have back problems or is somebody in your family have back problems?
I mean,
Um,
maybe older women got kyphosis or something worse than I have now, worse than me.
okay. What
Uh,
do you mean worse than me? Well, I
like
mean,
like I don't have very much kyphosis. Like it's when your back is like this and you can't straighten it out. It's
yeah.
pretty
Okay, so
mild.
that's got it.
But
So that's what I'm seeing
I
in
don't
you.
know what there might be something with circulation with my neck. Where I know I'm having trouble um is my eyes and not so much visually. I see okay,
Mhm,
I see all right, but
mhm.
I've had a bunch of, I'm going to track this back. Have had a bunch of ocular hemorrhages from
Okay.
COVID vaccine shedding and even other vaccines now, not even just COVID.
Got it.
And the way that connects in is I did belong to a group that was under a guru, and he's dead now. The founder is dead, but the people who run it now got everybody in the group vaccinated, everybody they
Okay.
could, a whole university, employees, whole sections, people in other countries besides the US. And I
Hmm.
didn't, and I actually just left the group.
Right.
When that happened, I just actually left the group.
Wow.
But I've never, at least until today,
Mhm.
Masati, I haven't been able to get over shedding problems and I've had a lot and it's like just messed with my eyes
Okay. Um,
chronically now.
okay. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
So
so take a breath in. Notice your bone structure. Okay. So that's another thing that I want you to again concentrate on your ribs. Your ribs and other bones create blood. But again, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to cure anybody or heal anybody, and neither should Western medicine because they don't. What really heals you is your inner self. When you awaken your inner self, then you start to heal. This is where, somebody could take a prescription medication or go through surgery and then they don't want to heal, and then that medication doesn't work. It doesn't help. Okay. So what I do best and that nobody else can is awaken your higher self to go, yeah, I choose my healed version. Okay. And also this, even with the vaccine after effects, we're coming up with a higher grade one, by the way. Okay. For like long COVID and all that. And again, it's a research on how, say, frequencies can affect your healing or recovery from vaccine. So watch out for that as well. And for those who did the vaccine after effects, guys, can you comment in on how, say, that transformed you or helped you heal yourself? So back to you, breath in, Beverly.
I did that by the way.
Yep, yep. And I think
Um
you're a lot better off from
it
it.
helped. It
Yeah.
helped,
Oh, thank
but
you.
wow, nothing has
Okay.
stopped it.
Right. So, and again, it goes deeper. So you've got, say, basically a couple traumas. One, the government control type vaccine. And again, guys, I'm not against vaccines, but was this a vaccine? Could you even define it as a vaccine? That's really key, right? True vaccines, like, are totally cool, but imitation vaccines, distorted vaccines, that's not cool, right? So again, with you. Uh, and even if you didn't take the vaccine, one, COVID in itself, I believe, was, say, manufactured. And again, that's my belief. I could be wrong. I don't know. Truth will tell. It always comes out. Take a breath in and just notice your bone structure again. All right. So in this case, what happens, one, you've got, say you might have had COVID. Again, it's very similar. It's a weaker dose than the vaccine. From what I see, it's just say airborne spread of the vaccine. Basically, that's the way I see it. The other aspect is what you're talking about, the guru frequency. So when that guru dies, usually the people that run the system or their support person, okay, those individuals get darker than actually the guru. That makes sense for you. And you can see it in any cult, in any guru, in any organization, by the way. And this is where you can see the distortion. Okay, on that. Any system where, again, the people leading and then the
Yeah, I attract people who try to solve things from a mental state. Yeah. 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 I hear you. I hear you. Hi. Hi, Alex. It's all it's all part of the process. Us, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So we're back, guys.
Okay.
Sometime, let's go ahead and take a breath in, all. We'll get back to Beverly and I'll tell you my story about that as well. Breathe in, Beverly. So one thing, again, you've got the COVID issue. Oh, perfect. Mm, yeah, there you go. So Alex, because I'm hearing myself. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that was on my side. All right, guys. Again, thanks. Let's go ahead, take a breath in. There we go. All right. So I think it was actually on my side, Alex. So that's why I think YouTube for some reason just stopped. So we'll log back in. Okay. So what happens again? A couple things. Again, breathe in, notice your ribs, bones, and then just kind of imagine how you create blood, and it goes through, permeates it through the bone, and then it goes into your veins and arteries, and that's how we recreate blood. So sometimes, as I've seen, COVID has somehow affected you, and again, COVID just accelerates whatever might be happening to you. So if you're going to have, say, heart issues in 10 years, with COVID, you're going to have heart issues in, say, a couple months. So it's kind of that pattern. So let's see if we can disconnect that. Again, not a doctor or anything like that, but for you, Beverly, and other individuals as well. Breath in. You're also disconnecting from, I want to say, again, and that's why I asked in the beginning if you had, back issues and so on like that, because it's not just blood issues, but, again, when your bones start to shift, and this is where, over time, like you're saying, the women in your line, in your family line start to, bend forward and so on like that, right? So whatever that is, whatever that pattern is, let's get rid of that because you don't need that. Because the more you accelerate into that space or into that pattern, what'll happen is, again, from what I'm seeing in your family, the women start to have, say, blood issues as well. They don't, say, regenerate blood. So breathe in. All right. So the other aspect of you is the guru side, like you were talking about, right? The guru side on this is literally where the guru starts to pull you in, and and then the people helping that guru get even darker, right? And again, it's not just religions, it's political figures and all that, like I was talking about King of Taiwan. So that means that again, the ascension process is, well, I guess a descension process. Again, you keep going lower and lower, and you can tell that, right? You can tell by corporations, government systems, and so on like that, family systems, right? That the children, offspring get worse and worse. Obviously, they're not following, say, again, natural intelligence. They're following, say, human laws, not again, natural intelligence laws. Breathe in. So what I'm doing for you, Beverly, is pulling you back into, say, your natural intelligence or your authentic self, if that's okay. Is that okay for you? Okay,
Yes.
and if that's okay for the audience as well. All right, breathe in. All right. So in this case, one, it's almost like in your whole life, it's like you've been pulled apart or getting torn apart. I don't know if that makes sense for you. Do you ever feel like there's always, say, should I do this or that? Or should I go with this group or that group? I don't know if that makes sense for you.
I
Uh,
think that's that's happened, but it's more now like um I don't actually feel coherent or really in accord with anybody.
right.
Like it's
Okay.
not this group or that group, it's this group or I'm by myself. I mean, I don't really
Okay.
feel affinity
Right. So,
for groups.
okay. So back in the day, it happened. Uh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Perfect.
it's been one group and the other, but now it's like a
Yeah.
group
So
or nobody.
yeah, perfect. So that's where you're going, and that's what I was getting to, which is great. So in this case, let's do this for you, where that pattern you haven't used it. Should I choose that group or this group? So let's just delete that, if that's okay for you. Okay,
Yes.
and then in this case, you're doing great again because of XI. It's like, hey, if they're not running the All right. Hey guys, so sorry. It's so crazy, guys. Whenever I talk about subjects like this, there's always technical issues that happen. It's the craziest thing. So, uh, so again, we'll get back into it, guys. Again, it's just the craziest thing, by the way. All right. So again, we did an event. What was that event called, Fefe? Fefe, what was that event called? We did in Denver. Yeah, divine atrocities. We did an event in divine atrocities, exposing, say, how the darkness controls you and all that stuff. Um, Colorado, the worst snowstorm they've had. They shut down flights. The electrical system got really weird. We were in a hotel that literally was chaotic. This is where all the presidents, used to stay, and they had like tunnels for their prostitutes and all that stuff. It was crazy, crazy stuff. And again, the electrical didn't work. People didn't show up. But people that did made it. It was amazing an event, but it was the craziest thing. And even on, Masati on Sunday in the past, if I've talked about this stuff, there's always some technical issues. So again, stay with me, guys. Thanks. Uh, thanks for hanging in there. That's how they get you. They push you into something, and it's like, well, I guess I'll have to go back to my old self. That's what it's all about. Okay. So, all right. So again, breath in, guys. We'll continue. We'll continue the experience. And we'll get into the talk. It's not going to be as long. Okay. So basically, and maybe we'll do it again, but basically, it's about how spiritual leaders, religious systems, and even, say, well-meaning gurus can distort your connection to source. Right. So we'll talk about, say, the edge. We're walking the edge between reverence and rebellion, right? Freeing people who've been, well, spiritually manipulated, energetically hijacked, or guilted into obedience in the name of love, karma, God, science, parents, respect, right? If you've ever heard, it's like you should respect me, right? Elders should be respected, and so on. You should respect your elders. It's like, no, you have to earn their respect. So that's how they get you. Those are all, say, fragments of the same piece. And as you grow, the whole thing with going into kindergarten, the way the school systems basically it makes you, say, an obedient citizen. It's easier for you to be hijacked later on. And then the spiritual community on the other side, there are, say, conscious or frequencies on the other side. It's like, well, shit, this reality wants to be hijacked. Like, shit, we'll take advantage of them. So again, if you believe in aliens, alien abductions, and there are alien abductions, psychological abductions, scientific abductions, all those things, they'll start to come into play. Because again, this is a reality that, say, evolves or devolves into being obedient. If you look at government systems, religious, again, persecutions back in the day, religious systems, again, you have to be obedient to follow their rules. Okay, which is really kind of crazy because religions, science, politics, your parents are all about loving you so you can be your best possible self. But if you're obedient to, again, distorted rules, well, that's where things start to get messed up, right? Because if you're obedient to the wrong rules, you're going to destroy yourself. And this is where society is today. Right? It's not about, better technologies. It's not about whatever. You literally start to, say, kill yourself. Through pollutions, through distortion, through whatever it is. And that's what's happening in the species as a whole. So this isn't just about spiritual things. It's about everything for you. All right. So take a breath in. We'll talk about some of the talk. We'll go through some of the talking points. We'll break it down. Again, we'll go through the process. I won't scan people just because of the time on that. And then we'll also talk about again, talking about, is MOS a guru and all that as well. So the hidden side of spiritual trauma, again, most people think trauma is only physical or emotional, but spiritual, but it's not. Spiritual trauma is when and this is how it all happens, right? Your inner compass, the one that you were born with, right? The one that you ask a lot of questions by the time you're 5 and 6. It's like, hey, mom, because you've got a handbook. It's like, mom, my handbook, says I should be this. But you're telling me, and society and the TV and media and all that is telling me I should be this. Which one's true? And then your parents, that's the initial start. Your parents goes, well, shit, don't listen to yourself. Don't listen to your inner logic. And again, comment in if that was you, right? Listen to the schooling, listen to whatever. And then you start to say, not rely on the handbook or basically the encoding of how you're supposed to operate. Okay. And this is where it starts to, again, you get hijacked. So your inner compass, that's where your inner compass gets hijacked. And then they put you into, religious schools. They force you to go to the mosque, to the church, and so on like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're learning good knowledge that comes from natural intelligence, not human knowledge, which is actually AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. So again, it's somebody else's belief system, not say the one belief system that you're supposed to. And it feels holy to you. And the reason why it feels holy to you is because you feel congruent. You feel like you're part of a group. And that's where it goes wrong. And this is where people, again, comment in, when you get into XI, and this is where people say, kind of get distorted. It's like, shit, I'm separate from the group. And it's like MOS is a cult. XI, is a cult because it's pulling you away from, say, your group. Yeah, because your group is messed up. Right? You're not supposed to be in that group. That group was never supposed to be created. But that's what gurus do, right? They pull you away. They tell you to get pulled away. They tell you not to listen. Societies, political groups, they tell you not to listen to the other side, just hear no evil, see no evil, and all that. No, that's bullshit as well. That saying, hear no evil, see no evil, that is bullshit. Basically, what they're saying is turn a blind eye to the evil that's around you. Don't look at it, don't see it, just trust it. Okay. So hear the evil and then again reflect back on, do you want to step into that group? Okay. And another thing with XI, I don't tell you to not listen to your friends, to your family, or anything like that. It's a natural space because you've outgrown your friends, okay? You've outgrown their distortions. You've outgrown your political follows and the science and so on like that. So I'm not doing it to you. Your higher self is basically going, yeah, you're going into this new group. Okay, the original group that you were supposed to go in. And this is where you don't follow them at an internal level. It's not me telling you you shouldn't, do this. And I've never told anybody. Well, that's not true. I'll talk about that in just a second. Take a breath in. Okay. All right. So your body says no, your soul says no, but then your faith says stay, right? And this is where, say, trauma comes in. So trauma isn't just from abuse, but it's from misalignment. When you get misaligned like that, everything goes awry. Everything gets distorted for you. This is where no matter what you do, say you get traumatized by it, you get distorted by it. And this is where, again, the guru trap happens. So that's number two. Again, one, they hijack your internal compass. Two, the guru trap. Why it works so well, right? Gurus, pastors, healers, science people, politics, your parents, and so on. They start with truth. They start with truth, but then since they're not relying on truth, they can't ascend any higher, and then they get into ego. So what they're telling you does not work for them. It's not working for you, but because they feel insecure or unstable, they basically go into ego, okay? The wrong sort of ego. And this is where again ego creeps in. They get more and more, say, powerful. If you've noticed, gurus, motivational teachers, all those individuals, right? When their systems don't work, when you get to a certain level and the systems start to falter and they fail. Okay. And then this is where they get that ego type drive, and it's just like, damn it,